As cold as it is, we're going to get started on time. All right, we're going to start off with our Lieutenant Governor.
Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you here today. We have some really exciting and hopeful news to share with you. It's pretty appropriate that Evelyn's with me today because I know that the first folks that we are going to be able to move into these travel trailers are families with small children. And so that's something that we're so excited about and happy for, and the hope is very palpable for folks who have been through more than most of us can fathom. And so I'm going to be honored to turn it over to Governor Beshear to talk a little bit more about the travel trailers that we are going to be able to move families into very, very soon. Governor Beshear.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and thanks for coming out today. Today is a good day because we have some much-needed, much-anticipated news for Western Kentucky families displaced by the devastating December tornadoes. Today, we're announcing that thanks to an appropriation from the General Assembly pushed through by Representative Heath, 200 camper travel trailers have been purchased and are going to be made available over the coming weeks to these displaced families. This is through the Commonwealth Sheltering Program, created to help survivors from the 16 impacted counties whose homes or apartments were damaged and have thus caused them to be displaced. These 200 travel trailers will provide much needed medium-term housing for our people. Now, when we look at how devastated so many of these communities are, it's not like other disasters where you can place people in other homes or apartments in those communities. This is that middle step from people currently in hotel rooms or lodges at our state park into one of these travel trailers where they'll have a little more elbow room. If you've been inside, they are quite nice. And then ultimately back into their home or a rebuilt apartment in their community. This is how we ensure these communities remain intact. And this is how we ensure that in the medium term, people aren't driving an hour and a half or 2 hours to get to work or to get their kids to school. The first folks that we are going to be placing in these are families with school-aged children or families with young children that work in their communities which was harmed. Additional focus will be on survivors currently staying at one of our Kentucky state parks or a hotel outside of their home community. This is important especially for school and work purposes, as there is no other reasonable, cost-effective solution. Travel trailers can be placed on the property of the impacted families or on their rental property if approved by the landowner. They can also be placed on public property if approved by local officials. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet will help in placing these medium-term housing solutions. The Cabinet will also secure them against future weather events and ensure utility connection. Now, for some even better news. Today's pretty neat to be able to show progress, to be able to see how we're providing for these families. But they're going to actually start moving in tomorrow on Friday. "20 of these campers will be set up and move-in ready tomorrow morning, and we believe that at least 14 families will receive their keys on Friday. I'm going to be there personally to hand out the keys to some of the first families, and there's going to be some pretty special stories about what this will mean to people's lives as they rebuild. A total of 200 travel trailers have been acquired. The Kentucky Emergency Management Team is still determining the survivors who are in need by working closely with FEMA, the American Red Cross, and our Kentucky State Parks and county officials. I want to thank our superintendents, who I believe are here today, though not wearing coats, so I think they're freezing. They had an 11 o'clock meeting, but they have helped us to identify those kids that have been displaced, that are in need. They are doing a great job of providing wraparound services to these kids, and I can't thank especially the superintendents of the hardest hit counties enough for their work. The travel trailers, again, provide everybody a little more space. And space that'll feel like it's theirs during these months until they can move back in a rebuilt home, and they provide a safe place for the time being. All these campers are brand new. They're either 2022 or 2021 models. They range in size from 27 feet long to 36 feet long. They're modern, clean, and well-equipped, all things that we can see right here as we stand beside one of them today. These are going to be great temporary solutions for our families in need. And again, to all members of the General Assembly for making this possible, thank you for standing up for our Western Kentucky families. As a reminder, families must register with FEMA before the disaster assistance deadline of February 11th. That's coming up really fast, and we need to get any family that hasn't registered to do so. To apply for FEMA assistance, visit disasterassistance.gov or use the FEMA mobile app or their helpline at 800-621-3362. To find a disaster recovery center, visit fema.gov/DRC. As we've said it before, this is going to take a long time, maybe up to 2 years to rebuild every home and every life. But we are absolutely committed to doing it. And today, behind us, you can see the work of the General Assembly, the cooperation between these branches of government, and it can instill the confidence in our families that are moving into these tomorrow morning that we are here for them today. We're going to be there for them tomorrow until, again, every life is fully rebuilt. With that, I'll turn it over to Secretary Gray.
Well, thanks, Governor. And on this brisk morning, I'm just going to punctuate and reiterate some of the things that the Governor's already said. Well, first things first, I want to thank the members of the Transportation Cabinet, and especially in Western Kentucky. In the night of December the 10th and the dawn of December the 11th was when our crews were out removing debris from roads all across Western Kentucky in order to get first responders access. I want to thank especially Jason Sawala, who is our Assistant State Highway Engineer, who is helping us lead this sheltering project, and Kyle Pote in District 1, our Chief District Engineer, and in District 2, Denitra Henderson, in District 3, Joe Plunk. I want to thank them because they have gone the extra mile in expanding their traditional roles in order to support this project. The Governor said it well. There's a lot of collaboration going on today. And I can't begin to thank Director Mike Dossett enough. His leadership at Kentucky Emergency Management has been inspirational all along the way. And the word inspiration is what we're seeing today in Western Kentucky. You know, Mother Nature can be generous, and Mother Nature can also be unforgiving. And that night and the dawn of December the 11th, we saw that unforgiving Mother Nature. But now we see the inspiration of renewal, and that's what the Governor was just describing. And it won't happen, as he said, overnight, but the leadership that exists both in Frankfort through the legislature and through the executive branch, through the Governor, and on the home front is what is an extraordinary inspiration, because what we see today are friends helping friends, neighbors helping neighbors, families helping families all across. And that is an inspiration for all of us. It's my honor to introduce Director Mike Dossett, who has been a leader in every respect in this project. Mr. Director.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Secretary. You know, it's interesting to talk about emergency services. As we know, Kentucky is disaster prone. We're one of the top 10 disaster prone states in the nation, so it's not that we're not used to responding. We're not used to responding to an event on this level. This has catastrophic destruction in Kentucky. It's the largest event we've had. And as Secretary Gray indicated, it's a partnership. It's a partnership. Kentucky Emergency Management and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet are joined at the hip in this project, and it is a remarkable opportunity for our survivors. I can tell you that very shortly, within an hour after this event occurred, after the wind was still blowing, Governor Beshear and I were in the EOC, and he spoke with many of the judge, executive, elected officials and the emergency managers while the event's still going on, and that's the type of leadership that has been brought to bear for this project and the long-term recovery. So it's important to distinguish between the FEMA process and the Commonwealth process. FEMA will provide direct housing to the 6 counties, and I'll give you those in a second. And that will come along a little bit later. It's a very, it's a long process of vetting those survivors. The governor has launched this program very quickly in terms of getting the survivors that do not qualify for the FEMA program. This is the Commonwealth Sheltering Program. So survivors in 16 counties will be available to register for these shelters. The 6 main counties that we worked in, and these received Category B designation on the 11th of December. One of the quickest designations in the history of FEMA disasters. We received a reply back in 4 hours for the first designation on the 11th, and those were for Caldwell, Graves, Hopkins, Marshall, Muhlenberg, and Warren, and these are the counties we're concentrating in for the first phase of this. So the trailers were purchased from local vendors, from 4 vendors within Kentucky. We bought 200 of them. The median cost for the trailers is about $38,000, and they range from 28 to 46. The one behind us cost about 44.8 for this trailer, and these are discounted prices. We drove a hard bargain, but we got the trailers here locally in Kentucky. As you can see, they sleep large families, and they were bought under FEMA guidelines with the opportunity for reimbursement as we move through the process. So the first trailers, as the governor and secretary indicated, will be in Mayfield and Dawson Springs. FEMA eligible assistance are those that are applied for the program. So we need to get the message out. In order to participate in this program, you have to be registered with FEMA. And again, the deadline is as the governor indicated. These trailers are available, and the process is 30 days at a time. It's a 6-month run for temporary sheltering under the non-congregate sheltering program, and that's what the FEMA terminology is. We have the option to renew that period of time, and we'll certainly look at that as the timelines come about. And again, as we've talked about today, the very first families that we're placing in trailers are those with school-aged children, and that'll be followed by families with young children, families that have elderly folks within the family unit, and rental property and state property is also available.
Great.
Thank you, sir.
Director. I'd like to give an opportunity. We've got legislators here from the hardest hit regions, from Mayfield to Bremen to Dawson to Bowling Green. If y'all would like to say a few words, it's just so cold. If you'd be brief, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah, just an opportunity to say thank you, Richard Heath from District 2 from Mayfield. And I learned from our Mayfield Electric Water folks that there are 400 homes that are gone in Mayfield and 147 businesses. They know this because their revenue is affected. It's customers that they used to have, they don't have anymore. So the need for the trailers is great, and the being able to expedite those and get those in quick is also great. And we thank everybody involved.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Governor, Secretary Gray, Secretary Dossett. The need in Bowling Green is so great. We have an affordable housing shortage and a rental property shortage. This is going to help so many people who are not sure what their options would be. So I encourage everyone who can hear me to please make sure that you apply and make sure you're registered with FEMA by February 11th. But I can't thank you all enough, and our partners in the federal government, for being with us in our hour of need. Thank you.
I'm Melinda Gibbons-Prunty from Muhlenberg County, 15th District, and these trailers are going to be a great opportunity for our folks to have a home, hopefully on their property while they rebuild. So thank you, Governor, and thank you everyone that's been involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Jim Gooch. I represent the community of Dawson Springs, and I can tell you the devastation that's been there it's so great. And Governor, I want to thank you for your leadership and all that you've done to help make this possible, because these folks are looking at least 2 years, even being able to get a contractor to rebuild and do some remodeling and that sort of thing. So this is essential for them to be able to stay in their communities that they've loved and they've raised their children in or whatever. So thanks everyone so much. Appreciate y'all being here.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming out. I think people may be available individually for questions. It is so cold that I hope everybody will get inside and get warm. I'll take any questions at the 12:30 Team Kentucky update if you want to send them through that way. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Yes.
Governor. How's Will?
He's good. He's just fine. He is just fine. So, all right.